Hello, everybody. Welcome to Awaken Positive Power with my beautiful co-host, Darcy Marta. Hello. And Jemima Godsall. We come to you each week talking about mental health topics. We are a place where mental health matters. I'm also an ambassador for Theraexpressions Meditation in Casper, Wyoming, where mental health matters too. Each week we bring different topics, as I said, and this week we do have a guest, we hope, coming on. We're just going to wait a few minutes to see if she comes on, but otherwise, we'll talk to you about a topic we thought of talking about, if not this week, next week, about retraining your brain. Now, we're just trying to normalize the conversation around mental health topics, or just normalize the conversation about feelings. It doesn't have to be a mental health thing. Sometimes even the stigma talking about mental health can make people go, oh no, it's just about what we think, how we feel. We're just trying to normalize that we all go through stuff, and it's okay. It's okay not to be okay too, isn't it, Darcy?
Yes, it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
Right. Most of us walk around fluctuating between being okay and not okay all day long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that, the guests coming on, I'm not quite sure. We usually have guests on who talk about their own personal trauma to triumph. It may not be that dramatic as a trauma to triumph, but it's just about the darkness to their light. I'm not quite sure what AMAY's story is. AMAY is going to be the guest, and if she doesn't come on, then we will talk something else, as I said. But it'll be quite exciting. But we just want to sort of make sure you are not alone. Like, everyone has someone out there who has a parallel story. And it's quite amazing.
Yeah, I just want to address something you just said, actually. It's like, it might not be that dramatic, but, I think that you don't want to judge your own intensity levels or importance levels with your trauma or whatever is going on with you. If you have a little success and you have a little trauma or whatever, get rid of the qualifiers. In other words, get rid of the qualifiers. So if you've had a year of struggle or a month of struggle, if you've had a decade of struggle or an hour of struggle, and then you found a way to overcome it, well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Right? That is a trauma to triumph. Right there.
True, Darcy. Sorry.
That's all right.
I was going to say, yeah, true. Like, one person's small trauma, maybe another person's huge trauma. So it's not about, it is taking the stigma out of how to define that trauma to triumph. That's why I do call it trauma to triumph, because it is, even if it is just I stubbed my toe, then I put a Band-Aid on, that's a trauma to triumph. It doesn't have, and you can, that could kill somebody, that stubbing their toe. Another person might just walk through it. There's that sort of,
because we want to think of it this way: somebody who has a little issues, or people that they say, well, it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. It's not a big thing. It was just a little issue I had, and I'm over it. Those things really add up. And then what does I'm over it mean? Everybody wants you to just get over it, right? And if you're processing something that was hard for you emotionally to process, well, good for you. And I'm take the time that you need, whatever time that is, to process. If it's hard for you to get over, then it's hard for you to get over. And we're here to support that. And we're not here to say, well, that's not important enough. And neither should you to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I say to my partner is, when I'm having, because I suffer from depression, guys, if you haven't been here before, and I've had a lot of emotional trauma, and I'm suffering post-traumatic stress from a cycle of 2.5 years ago, which is quite intense. Sometimes it comes in when I'm triggered, and it's really very dark. And the worst thing that my partner or anyone can really say is, get over it, or you'll be okay, or it's fine, and it's not. And that makes me go even more, because I feel that something's wrong with me, and I feel like they don't understand, and that it's like they're negating my issue, which is massive in that moment, and it is. Right. So just we'll get there. 1 second. AMAY's coming in. So it's very important, to make sure we don't accidentally minimize someone's problem,
or our own. We don't minimize our own.
Exactly. We could talk about this all day, couldn't we? Anyway, so AMAY's here. Yay, AMAY's here. Come on in, AMAY. Hi. Welcome. You're already on, my love. So welcome. How you doing? You look beautiful. This is Darcy, my love. Darcy Marta, my co-host. Can we hear you? Are you there? We can't hear you, my love. We can't hear you. That's okay. No worries. As I said, 100% authentic. No stress. We're so glad you came in. Fantastic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
So this is beautiful Darcy Mata, and
Hello.
AMAY. Yes, this is my co-host. This is beautiful AMAY.
Hi,
Hi,
May.
Darcy.
Nice to meet you.
AMAY, my love. So hi, welcome. Thank you for coming to Awaken Positive Power, where we talk about mental health issues and mental health matters. Just talking about people's traumas to triumphs, and Darcy and I were just saying, not never negating anyone's idea of their trauma to triumph. So thank you for coming on. I know it can be quite challenging to be asked to come on, and you come and go, yeah, I said yes, why? But here you are. Yay! So please tell us a story. Like, what made you say yes to coming on and speaking for Awaken Positive Power?
Well, thank you for asking that question.
Such an honor.
I don't know that I can answer all of your questions, but I can answer that one. So I wanted to show up for myself, to be a voice, and I think that's the greatest gift of all right here, right now, is really being willing to show up and to courageously show up and to go through all of the spaces. Should I, shouldn't I? Am I ready? Do I want to have healthy boundaries? And I just don't want to share my trauma right now. Just where am I feeling into honoring myself at this very moment, yet still coming in to meet you. And I wanted to be a part of this. Jemima, you have such a heart of gold that it just radiates out, and I feel my heart in your essence, and I felt drawn to come, and I want to help you expand who you are, and all of us, that what we're caring about, and kind of like the little gold nuggets that we've discovered along the way through our traumas, triumphs, failures, journey.
So what may so I hear that we're not going to really touch on the trauma, which is wonderful, but thank you for coming. But what other sort of tools that you have used to remain so beautiful and so tender and loving with your own heart? Like, how I know we've all been through struggles in our life, but you know what we talk about, so obviously you've been through something. But what's helped you come to rise out of whatever darkness you've been in?
Well, there's a lot. One, I think, is mostly my devotion and persistence and not giving up. Mm-hmm. And even when it seems like something's not possible, to know and to keep reminding myself that there's that littlest bit of light, and that in any major breakdown can come the biggest breakthrough, and to stay focused and centered and soft and gentle in the energy of that kind of tending to ourselves and not reacting out of hurt. Over this past several months, back to like April, I had flown to go and perform. I was invited to play the piano at an after party for the Academy Awards. And it was a big deal for me because there were supposed to be celebrities there, and I was going to be like at the after party with them, or it was kind of something I didn't want to not do. But then afterwards, when I was headed back to the airport, my luggage was taken, and my identification, my credit cards, my debit card, everything. So I discovered when I was in LA that I couldn't check into a hotel. I couldn't get on a flight. I couldn't rent a car without an identification. And so there was a two nights where I actually, because I had a couple little bit of my other luggage left. So I was kind of trying to look like I'm okay, not like you look like, you have some luggage there. I was literally at the McDonald's going into the airport, and just went to go to the bathroom. And anyway, I don't need to hear the whole story, but it swept me into an experience that had me be discovering how people treat each other, how there's many people can treat and start to see you instantly in a new way, in a way that you lose value. If people perceive like, oh, you've been thrown away, nobody wants you, you have no place to go.
Right.
And it's interesting. It was interesting to just witness this. For me, luckily, I had friends and I was just like angelically taken care of, and I could write a book about the entire experience. But
how did you
traumatized also my family.
Okay. Wow.
And my daughter.
Wow.
And so
you probably got really worried about you.
Yes, they got really worried. And when I came home for Mother's Day, expecting her to be here to spend the weekend with her, and my daughter, she was not here. She was just didn't want to talk to me. She was upset. And so there was, so luckily there was a period of time where it's like she just wasn't going to talk to me, and I was really worried. At some points I was thinking, my daughter's 20 right now, 20 years old. And there was a point where I was just wondering, like, is this ever going to happen, but luckily now we are talking and everything is better. And we're actually tonight about to have a family dinner, everyone together. And this hasn't happened for, I think, since December.
Oh, wow. I just got goosebumps. How beautiful.
Yeah. So
in that moment, how did you not flip out? Like, just because the anxiousness of the situation, let alone knowing that, we can all say, okay, I know this is just a situation, and observe from it, and knowing that you are safe, that you do have friends picking you up. But how did you not flip out, like, and get frustrated and freak out and, lose your mind for a moment? Because that's human, isn't it? Like, isn't that what most people would tend to do, even though you've got friends picking you up? Like, what, explain, please, enlighten me, friend.
Yeah. Well, from being in that situation, and it didn't go from just as easily as, oh, I've got friends picking me up. So being put in that situation, it did open the door for other vulnerabilities, and it did open the door for some other things happening. And so it was important for me to stay as grounded as possible. At that time, I was just seeing it as an adventure. I was actually just, as much as I could, rather than being a victim of it, just continuously choosing, okay, I'm choosing that this is what's meant to be happening. It's allowing me to see from another viewpoint and be able to have more compassion for other people that are in homeless situations. And there was a situation where I was able to step in and help people that were in these compromised situations, that were losing it, actually. And where the police were like going in with, like, in a more volatile way, I was able to step in a way that just calmed the situation down and allowed the real communication of what's happening. There was that one situation where I was at a 7-Eleven, and there was a man that looked to be homeless trying to steal something from the 7-Eleven worker. The worker guy had come out the front door trying to take it back so he didn't steal it, and he was like, they're having this actual physical altercation over him trying to take this item. And I just felt called to literally step right in between them, and I talk directly to this, upset, just young man who was losing it, and and calmed him down, and was able to just find out, like, why do you need this? What is this? He's like, I just have to call my mother. It's a phone charger. There's a phone there. I discovered a lot of these places, they have no plug. You can't even go in and plug in to charge your phone. So there's all of these people that have, these things, I don't know, I'm not speaking very clearly. Their charge cord, or they need to charge their phone, or they need to be able to call somebody. They can't do it.
Right.
And it's like, I was actually I guess there's just a lot more people that are homeless in California because of the weather. Here I'm in New Jersey, so we don't have that as much, that situation. But to go out of your way to cover over the charge outlets, that is quite kind of, for me, a despicable kind of thing to do. And I just really didn't like seeing that.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really
people.
sad.
Yeah.
So I think the key thing that you said here, though, is, aside from thank you for helping that guy, but the power of choice. Like even Darcy and I were talking about that before, how we retrain our brain. We have, as we mature, the ability to choose how we deal. And it does take practice, and it does take a moment where, as you said, you needed to be grounded in that moment. You knew you had to be grounded, and you learned that. But the power of choice, like, can we please, as hallelujah angels and people out there, my goodness, know that we have a choice always of how to deal, how to respond, how to change a moment, all the time. And this is what I was just saying to Darcy before you came on, AMAY, like, why weren't we told this, or why wasn't this taught to us every day as kids? Why weren't we saying we've always got a choice of how we can? Maybe we were. I wasn't. But I think majority haven't been, even retraining the negative thoughts, like the power of choosing how to respond in a situation where you could melt down, but you have to stay present and grounded. Power of choice. I mean, without knowing you had a choice of how that you needed to be grounded, then, yeah, you probably would have flipped out like, I was about to say, any normal person would. Like, how dare I say that, normal person, but isn't that amazing? And generally people would forget they have a choice. So thank you for bringing that up.
I will say something about that, though, because even though there's been situations where I've been in traumatizing situations and still choosing to empower myself. So I'm not really perceiving myself as the victim, but I'm choosing right there as everything is happening, as it's coming at me. However, our nervous systems, sometimes they can only take so much, and we have to listen to the intelligence of our body. And so I definitely reached my limit of my nervous system through this journey. And I definitely had to learn new skills of putting new healthy boundaries.
Right.
And listening within to my nervous system, and using tools how to soothe my nervous system, so that I can even be able to show up today, to have the courage and the willingness to put myself out here, even though I'm not feeling like I would be as prepared as possible. I was committed to building a relationship, and I can come back on, like, it doesn't have to be black and white, like everything or nothing.
Right.
And I just wanted to show up and be connected, and the beauty in being willing to connect and open ourselves up, even just our presence.
Yeah.
Sometimes our presence can just be enough.
Yeah.
And I just really kind of wanted that to be the message. Like, do we have to have like the perfect share? I think that partly it is just, I've discovered in my coming through these layers of trauma and soothing my nervous system, it's so soothing just to show up and connect and not be isolated and hiding. That right there is just the greatest gift. And this, I'm committed to this and holding programs with movement and of, moving the body and feeling our emotions and expressing and releasing. And so we could talk a little bit about that if you wanted. But I'm so happy to be here and meet you both.
Bless you, May. Yeah, I'd love to have you back on and we can chat about your embodied dancing another time, just because time is permitted. Darcy, were you going to jump in there and say something that you just before?
Yeah, I was going to say that what you were talking about is a whole nother conversation. It's big. Yes. Why weren't we taught that we can have a choice? Is because most people are not taught that, and it's also in our language. The negative self-talk is something that's actually a part of our language. It's a part of our perspective. And only over the last couple of years have we really integrated the concept of mindfulness. You're starting to see mindfulness meditation everywhere and a lot of self-help classes, etc. And because people have realized that we have to make a huge shift here in our way of communicating and our way of being. And most of the time we teach children punitively. And so we teach them how to be self-punitive by doing that. If you sit down, behave yourself, go, you have a timeout in the corner and we're all going to see you being bad, then that child learns to do that inwardly. Right?
Yeah,
so
true.
This whole retraining, we're retraining ourselves. A lot of people are through mindfulness practice, and hopefully that'll trickle down to teaching our children. And you and I have spoken about nurtured heart approach and that sort of approach to dealing with children. And we just have to start over as adults and train ourselves. Because at 60 years old, 40 years old, you have 40 years of negative self-talk to retrain.
That was just saying in my blog. I got 48 years to unwrap my negative self-talk. And it's kind of exciting because I think if I can replace 50%, even just 50% of every minute of my negative talk, oh my God, it's going to be so exciting.
Well, that's what I was talking about. The exciting thing is you took 40 years to get here in that negative place, right? It's going to take you less than half that time once you really understand how to practice, because now you understand the benefit of it and you're not just blindly. People are like, oh, why does positive self-talk take so long? It's like, because we have to get mindful, but it really doesn't take as long as it's taken to get here. So
it's exciting to think that, like I was just saying to Darcy, I've been paying attention that like every minute at least, not one or two, 3 times in the minute am I berating myself. Like, and I'm thinking if I can replace 1 minute with a positive, those 3 negative talks, that's so exciting. Like, it's because you feel good, those good days where you feel everything's fine, you attract good things because you're feeling good, you look good, it'll good. Imagine feeling that all the time. Like, oh my God, I'm so excited to practice. I mean, it's a lot of work, isn't it? Like, it's going to be a lot of work, but I'm excited to think, wow, if that can change half my time into much more better self, that's going to be such worth every second of work, every second of work I put into it. Guys, I'm sorry, I know we've got like so many conversations going on, but let's have a card pull, Darcy. We're coming to the end of our conversation. AMAY, can we do it for AMAY, Darcy?
For AMAY, sure. Yeah. AMAY, would you like us to pull a card for you?
Sure, that would be great.
Oh, this is so interesting. What's happy family?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That's kind of amazing because as soon as you said your name, that's the card that came out. What's happy family? So there you go.
So I mean, if you haven't seen this channel, we're both really in tune with the cards. Every card we pull is like exactly what is for the conversation. So that's just amazing. So what's it say, Das? Give us the juice.
The juice. So I'm using Sandra Ann Taylor's energy cards. So that's what I'm using today.
Beautiful.
And it's a number 4. This card is number 4. So,
I mean, we were talking about the number 4 the other day. My God, it's so funny.
Yeah, it's an
angel number.
Yep.
Okay, so there's your happy family card. This is for you today. And it says, the rainbow over this happy family portends a time of joy and celebration. Close connections are available, so don't overlook the fun and frivolity that a friend or a family member, a family experience can bring. The value that you find in a truly loving relative or friend brings a higher vibration to your love force. You may be distracted or busy, but remember to put this part of your life in the forefront of your priorities. If you're single, finding this card in your spread could indicate a potential meeting and perhaps a relationship with someone who has children from a previous marriage. This ready-made family might bring some challenges, but it could also be your destiny in this lifetime. That could also mean people that you're working with and how you're bringing them in that family idea and all those different like veins of connections, you know. This card may also signify a celebration coming up, such as a wedding or birthday party, right? And please enjoy it. It says, please enjoy it.
Oh, how wonderful. That is so fitting. And they have a fantastic night tonight. Seriously, you deserve it. You're already glowing. That's like such a good little way to start your night.
Right.
Thank you, AMAY, for turning up and giving us your voice and showing up, as you said, just showing up for yourself and giving us some points as to how to deal with some moments of fragility. Amazing. It's such
a card is telling you you're going to show up for your family tonight, and your family will show up for you, and you just keep those connections as the whole point.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to get off into subjects about why and how and such, say, let's just keep it that we are here together. Keep it simple.
Full of love.
Loving. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Darcy, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We are Awaken Positive Power. We shall see you next week. Love you. Peace out. Bye.